What is up, everyone? It is the Alpha J of the Alpha J Show. So I was on a researching binge today and I saw that Nickelodeon has only 3 original series left in their tank going into 2018. Now, to be fair, they have also acquired 2 shows, but they aren't Nicktoons. So I want to talk about what happens, what this means going forward, and my thoughts on the matter. I want to shout out my own updated Patreon. I recently went through and updated the goals, rewards, and plan to be a lot more interactive with my patrons on that going forward. There's a lot of exciting and cool stuff, and whether it's me or any other small creator, especially artist or content creator on this platform at least, if you have $1 or 2 to spare, it is much more beneficial than you think to support someone on Patreon. My Patreon will be in the card and description below. I want to say that I will not be taking into account the live action just yet because I am an animation centric YouTuber first. So before you bring up live action, just wait. So as I said, Nickelodeon has 3 original Nicktoons: SpongeBob, The Loud House, and Welcome to the Wayne. SpongeBob is a special case, and I think it's fair to say so. With tons of episodes and specials, 2 movies and an upcoming movie, SpongeBob not only isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but has cemented itself in being a core part of Nickelodeon's animated programming. The Loud House was a smash hit, beating SpongeBob in the ratings at a certain point and proved to go over well with their audience, to the point where even a movie was announced. Despite the controversy with the creator, and if you don't know, I'll link an article talking about it and my good friend Crimson Mayhem talking about it in the description below, the show is still going on strong. Welcome to the Wayne was a show that started before this version of the idea aired, and it grew a massive core fan base, and being the only original Nicktoons show that has an ongoing story from what I see. You also have Alvin and the Chipmunks, which is pretty much Nickelodeon playing Johnny Test. Not the show, but like Alvin is Johnny. Not a future video if you're wondering, but just think about it if you've seen both shows. You also have Mysticons, a fantasy show marketed towards young girls that I've never heard of. So I do want to at least say that despite not having that many animated shows on, I do have to give it to Nickelodeon for having a lot more variety. Not all of their shows are random, super fast, wacky, colorful, and blah, like Unikitty, OKKO, Uncle Grandpa, and the reboots, which, if you think that's a hard job, it's not, because I do like most of the shows I mentioned, but let's be honest, you have the appeal of SpongeBob with the core audience of a fantasy mystery show of Welcome to the Wayne, with the other smash hit, most likely number 2, Loud House, with the movie to cartoon easy to air episodic show of Alvin and the Chipmunks, and a show to appeal to young girls with the Mysticons. That's not bad, and honestly, although they went through a time when Fanboy and Chum Chum, Breadwinners, Rocket Monkeys, Planet Sheen, and Sanjay and Craig pretty much banked on Gross Out and LOL Random, it shows that they are at least moving out of that crutch. So what happened to the other shows on Nick? Bunsen is a Beast is a comedy show created by Nick veteran Butch Hartman, the mastermind behind Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, and Danny Phantom. And although the show started off strong in January after being encouraged to make episodes for what originally started off as a drawing, the show didn't even make it a full year on Nickelodeon, getting shafted to Nicktoons more than halfway through their first season, Nickelodeon's sister network, on December 18th of 2017. Even though I have a massively different opinion on the show than the millions who watch every day, Bunsen is a Beast has a more consistent rating average than Steven Universe. Now, before you jump to conclusions, Steven Universe is on Cartoon Network, and they don't exactly market Steven Universe the best. Not even counting the fact that the last week of December, if you're wondering, aside from Teen Titans Go airing all week, they crammed 2 episodes of Steven Universe at the end of their block for a certain day. Pig Go Banana Cricket is a comedy show that had a very weird art style, but went through its entire first season, unlike Bunsen is a Beast, on Nick before having moved to Nicktoons, where it died a horrible death. More on that later. Harvey Beaks is a very special case that I cannot fully go into, but as I say in majority of my videos, I would love to expand on it if there's tons of interest. Harvey Beaks is another fantasy and comedy show created by C.H. Greenblatt, writer of Band Geeks, voice actor for Fred Fredberger, and creator of Chowder. The show started off great with 1 season airing all the way through Nick, but after a quote event that happened during the 2nd season, the show was split into Nicktoons, with a very unhappy Greenblatt not being sure of when episodes would air at the time. They do air though on Nicktoons. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a part of the bigger franchise, one of my personal favorite reboots, and it doesn't appear to have moved to Nicktoons at all, based on me looking at the ratings for it and seeing that they're all based off of Nickelodeon, not Nicktoons. So I just assume that the show ended on its own terms, but I could be wrong. They are releasing a new show show around the turtles, so again, I think they ended on their own terms, and this is just the newer show. I don't find fault in their later seasons having lower ratings because as a story-based show with later and later seasons, it can be much of a hassle for new viewers to want to catch up. Rabbids is a very interesting case, especially season 2. The show went on for 4 years, featured a very long break in between November of 2014 to June of 2015, and another break from June of 2015, the same month, just towards the end, to December of that same year, where they moved to Nicktoons for the rest of their run. There is also another show called Kuku Harajuku, created by Gwen Stefani. Never heard of this. It got moved to Nick Jr. quite quickly, so I'll just move on. So as you can see, a lot of these, aside from TMNT, have the same pattern. After a while, if it isn't getting the numbers that Nickelodeon or Viacom wants, it moves to Nicktoons. And for some people, it seems like an unfortunate road, and we'll dive into that right now. Harvey Beaks received as low as a 0.11 rating on Nicktoons. Pig Goat Banana Cricket received as low as a 0.09 rating going into Nicktoons. And Rabbids received a whopping 0.06 rating moving to Nicktoons. It is clear that moving to Nicktoons is a sign of death, and honestly it's very unfortunate that shows go out with the fanfare that they do on Nicktoons. Nickelodeon clearly knows that less people will watch it, but why do they do that? The obvious main answer is because they would rather fill said slot with something that works well in the era of dying television. So these shows that might have been able to improve essentially get thrown into a spot where even if they did improve, you wouldn't be able to tell because the ratings are still astronomically low. Now, as I said in my Cartoon Network video, should Cartoon Network, or really any network, Nickelodeon in this case, shaft shows so early to Nicktoons or their sister network? No. As much as I may not enjoy Bunsen is a Beast, I think that it shouldn't have had moved to Nicktoons before its first season was over, even with the ratings it had. The same goes for Harvey Beaks. I may not know the inner workings of what happened, I do know that a lot of people enjoy the show though, and Nicktoons should be the home for all shows that pretty much ended on their own terms ideally. Essentially airing reruns or shows that really didn't work, or sneak peeks, but it ends up becoming the Nickelodeon graveyard. I remember Penguins of Madagascar with an insane amount of episodes per season, at least for a Western animation show. I know you want to say something, anime folk, but just calm down, back away from the keyboard. Went from 2 million people watching to about 180,000 on Nicktoons back in 2013. I bet Pig Goat Banana Cricket would love to have a 0.18 rating, but they got half of that. My point here is that Nicktoons benefits the company more than it benefits the creators, and honestly, if Nick went the route of Disney XD when it comes to Nicktoons, maybe, just maybe, they can have a lot more power and a lot better numbers when it comes to maybe getting shows that might be lacking to work better if they went to Nicktoons. Now, this is from a fan's perspective, and I know as many detractors would say that it's about Nickelodeon's interests first or Viacom's interests first, and that's perfectly fine, but any company that doesn't take into account the interests of the customer will die out soon, and I truly don't want that. I don't want any network to die. Nicktoons can still be a good thing going forward in 2018 if they truly tried to make it that way. What else besides a clear cutoff for shows and what they could do better? Well, there's this. On Viacom's website, they list Nicktoons as, quote, the highest concentration of B211, that's boys, across all television, and offers a roster of hits that have defined kids and animation lovers TV. Now, why would they put animation lovers? But I will give them the benefit of the doubt and claim that they do want to air reruns of older shows for animation lovers like myself on this platform. However, I feel like between shafting shows that they clearly think are failing and airing shows that we enjoy is giving a mixed signal. Is it a graveyard or is it a time machine? Does Nick treat it as a trash can or as a shelf of their legacy? I don't know. On one hand, yes, they do dump their shows, but I cannot deny that they have aired a lot of older shows as reruns through Nicktoons. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now here's the part for me that's very interesting. Nickelodeon does push a lot of its live action content through, much more than animation, and I made a jab that Nickelodeon probably isn't the leading animation network that it used to be. Now I am debating on how much that really matters, as number one, how many people really count on Nick as their primary source of animated shows, opposed to other networks, and two, the fact that The Adventure of Kid Danger, Pinky and Malinky glitch text, series. And a new TMNT will be coming out this year. Will that be enough? Will any of these shows stand the test of time? Or at least beat the SpongeBob test the way that the Loud House did? It's hard to tell because Nickelodeon gravitates a lot towards live action more these days. Live action is a lot easier to produce and quicker to make generally, at least for Nickelodeon standards, and a lot of them use the Dan Snyder formula, streamlining the process a lot quicker due to his style of writing. Would it be fair to basically make Nickelodeon take the harder route of pushing animation? Well, I have no stock in Nickelodeon, nor would I want to, but I cannot deny that Henry Danger and the Thundermans destroyed Teen Titans Go, Steven Universe, and Regular Show in the ratings. Do people care more about those shows? Well, kind of. You have to imagine that anytime I talk about Cartoon Network shows, include quote, but we can't take this too bluntly because of the marketing of Cartoon Network. Nick is even making an animated series of Henry Danger because people watch it a lot, more than the Loud House. Ideally, Nickelodeon should focus on both and be the leading competition of both, but again, we don't live in an ideal world. My point here is that with live action shows, they clearly do much better than their animation, for the most part, but when you factor the whole not better than SpongeBob mentality and the sad fate of Nicktoons, you don't know whether a show did bad because of its quality or did bad because of the company dropping the ball. I can't blame Nickelodeon for wanting to push live action more if people want that, but if that's what they really want, then my video still stands. What is happening to Nickelodeon? They found what's working for them, and what's working for them is not primarily animation anymore. Is Nickelodeon or the idea of a Nicktoon ruined? No, because with shows like TMNT, The Loud House, and SpongeBob, these shows are still proof that a good cartoon can battle with the best. It just needs good quality, but also good marketing. And although I originally went into this very disappointed at Nick, with this added information, I do understand their viewpoint a lot better. Live action works for them, so they're going with that route. Personally, as an animation lover, I don't think that they should, but I guess I'm in the minority apparently. Or maybe I'm not because of the Nicktoons trap. I'm not sure, but with this spider web of where Nick went wrong in terms of animation, I do know one thing. I will keep supporting shows that I want to continue, and so should you, through the app, TV, iTunes, or any merch or toys that they get. I want to shout out at Nick and More for their wonderful resource of a website/Twitter feed that I use a bit in this video, and the previous one. Follow them if you want to know more about the nitty-gritty of Nickelodeon, but also the other networks as well. What do you think about Nickelodeon in 2017? Let me know in the comments down below. Follow me at The Alpha J Show and go into my request video and drop a comment on whatever you'd like me to talk about, provided it's not in the pinned comment. If you really like this video, you should check out my Cartoon Network in 2017 video. Make sure to subscribe and feel free to consider my Patreon as always. I hope your time was well spent, and Alpha out.